my wonderful subscribers. I want to say by starting this off, first things first, thank you to each and every single one of my subscribers. I have met my goal for the end of the year, but I still would love to keep on going. So please keep liking, please keep viewing, please keep sharing. It's very wonderful of y'all, and I appreciate every bit of it. I've met over 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That's wonderful, and I'm very much appreciative of it. With that being said, let's get on with today's wonderful topic. I think might ring a few bells, and I'd love to hear some comments about it, especially for anybody that's a licensed driver that keeps an eye on my channel. Um, it has to do with yield signs and on and off ramps whenever you're merging onto an interstate or major highway of any kind. It's one of my pet peeves. It's been really, really getting to me here lately, and I thought today would be a great day to bring it on show, and let's have a big discussion about it. And I've got some wonderful panelists that are backstage currently, and I'll bring them on one at a time as we come to them, and we'll get this show on the road, and let's figure out what's going on. All
we
right.
got one. We got one in backstage that's trying to trigger
Oh,
you before you even got started.
I see that. I see that. Well, how
Yeah.
about this? Let's just bring that gentleman right on up.
Oh, you want to get started with the boom, huh?
I want the boom, the big stick of dynamite. Let's go for it.
Boom. Good
Yes,
evening
it
or good afternoon, gentlemen.
No, do it right.
Afternoon to you,
Do it
Fate.
right. Good morning, good evening, or good day, wherever
No.
you're watching from. However you do it.
Exactly.
You tried to do a driving with John there. I get it. And what I mean by that is steal other people's words and content. It's
Tried.
good morning, good afternoon, or good evening,
There you
depending
go.
on what
Yeah,
time you're watching this.
There
that's
you go.
If you're
right.
gonna steal it, get it right at least.
Hey, I
Exactly.
don't have the character. I'm sorry. I can't do that.
Well, you just
Uh,
can't borrow stuff and not know how to use it. That's the way that
Correct.
works.
there's that. Uh,
So, I know the most of my viewers have seen you a few times already with me on my show, and glad to have you again this week. Unfortunately, last week you were kind of busy, I'm sure, and tied up doing what people do, which is work and make money. So uh, let's let the viewers kind of know who you are, if you don't mind, and introduce yourself and your channel, and we'll go from there, and then we can start talking some topics about yield signs and the difference between it and a stop sign.
Okay. I just got a text from my wife. She's on her way to come and pick me up. So depending on how long that is, I might have to jump out. But my name's Fate Truckin', aka Scott. I do have a YouTube channel and a TikTok and a Facebook. But if you find me, you find me. I'm not really good at self promotion. I will say this: congratulations, getting to 1,000 subscribers. That's a
Thank you.
big deal in YouTube.
it is. It is.
Getting that first 1,000 is very difficult to do.
It is.
But yeah, congratulations. That's a little bit about me. I'm an owner operator and I haul reefer freight.
Awesome. Awesome. So, with that being said, how about what are your thoughts on people and yield signs and intersections that we come up to, or on and off ramps? What do you feel about that? You're a driver. I'm a driver. It's stuff we deal with day in and day out, and I just want to know. Does it irritate you whenever you're going down an interstate and someone doesn't know how to merge properly because they have a yield sign?
Well, not even a yield sign. Here's, I know you've been trucking a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Boss Man's been trucking for a long time now. I've been trucking for a long time. Um, yield signs are important, but let's talk about merging onto a highway.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope people that aren't truck drivers see this because this is important. And all you have to do is research it because I'm sure the comments are going to go crazy when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
The car that is merging does not have the right of way. It's the
That's right.
cars that are on the freeway that have the right of way.
Mhm.
I'm a big believer in, and I was also trained this way. We're supposed to, I'll just say this. You are putting yourself in jeopardy of being in an accident when you're moving over into the left lane to let cars merge on. It's their responsibility to either pick up speed or slow down. And even if they have their blinker on, the blinker doesn't give you a right of way. A blinker is a suggestion.
Mhm.
And that, like, those are hard legal facts. So
Yep.
for somebody that's not familiar with trucking, if you are merging onto a freeway and you see a truck is, let's say, pacing you, it is your responsibility to either pick up the pace or slow down. It's really not the truck driver's responsibility to do that. And it's really not the truck driver's responsibility to move over a lane for you. That actually puts us at a greater risk of being involved in an accident when we have to do that.
Yep.
Exactly. I couldn't have said that better myself. I mean, I've been out here, and of course Scott's been out here as long as I have. Actually, he's been out here just a little bit longer. I'm still trying to figure out how, because he's younger than me. But that's a joke, by the way. Anyhow, well, basically, it's just like he was hitting at. It's more difficult for a truck that's almost 70 foot long to merge over, especially when there's a lot of traffic already on the interstate or freeway, than it is for a car that's a four-wheeler that's coming on and actually supposed to yield, aka stop, if they are not able to merge in.
A lot of videos I've watched on this topic, they classify what you're describing as an interaction. Now, the more you put yourself in places where you have to increase speed, decrease speed, change lanes, make unpredictable movements, that increases the number of times during a workday that you have an interaction with another vehicle. If you think ahead and move and stay ahead of your truck, which is what you're supposed to do, you are likely to lessen the interactions you have. And accidents happen when most times either the truck or the car get behind themselves. The interactions become more dangerous. So that's the way
Correct.
it was described on a couple of the legal videos I watched. So, that's a perspective I thought would be worth mentioning. So
It is.
still have some backstage guests. You want to bring them on?
Yes, let's bring them on one at a time, if you don't mind, boss man.
Alrighty. I'll bring your uncle up.
All
Face
right.
we're all familiar with. Introduce yourself. You got to unmute
You're
yourself,
muted.
bro. You got to unmute yourself.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
We
hear
can.
you now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Grumpy's uncle. I'm his real live uncle. I live in Ohio, and I'm a local driver for our co-op, agricultural co-op. I drive fertilizer truck, liquid truck, chemical truck, you name it. I chase sprayers, but we're currently all over northern Ohio, north central Ohio. We have 15 locations around Ohio here, all the way. We even got one in Pennsylvania, one in New York, and 3 on the east side of Ohio near the Pennsylvania border.
Cool. Staying busy then, huh?
Staying busy.
Yep.
Right now it's slow because of the cold and the snow. There's not much going on except for grain going out. I move a lot of grain.
Oh, we know.
Yep, it's that time of the year.
Yep, we know some people in those fields.
Sure do.
Yep.
Well,
so what's your thought on today's topic?
Yeah.
Yield. I can tell you, as a driver out on some of these city roads on the highways, 71 especially. I don't know. I ain't going to mention the town, but out east of us here, there's a certain town that uh, they don't like us. They don't like us at all. And merging, they don't know what that is. They just pull right out. There's no yield signs anywhere on the on ramps or the off ramps. So they just boom, they come out in front of you. I've had to hit my brakes several times. Let me tell you, they brake check you real good.
Yep.
I don't like it.
I don't like that either. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up, because a lot of people don't understand when you get inside, or if you're driving the truck and then you've got somebody that gets mad at us and they think, oh, we'll just get in front of them, make them slam on their brakes, and show them we're the boss. Well, they don't understand that that's a very, very bad thing, because I brought this up in the past. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on my show, but I have talked about it on Boss Man's a few times. Insurance companies would rather pay out one time as to pay out overtime, because that means that if they're going to get involved in an accident, that insurance company, I mean, it's sad to say this, but they would rather them completely unalive themselves as to have to pay out over months, and that's just how they look at it. And when they do stupid things like jumping in front of big trucks or other vehicles for that matter and cause an accident doing a brake check, it's ridiculous. And I'm so happy that we have forward facing cameras in our trucks, and the majority of companies have went that way. There are some that have them where they face back towards the driver as well. I don't like them because, to me, I mean, honestly, they are feeling, kind of on the invasion of privacy, but they say they don't monitor you unless something happens. We don't know that for a fact. Only they do. It's just one of them deals that I feel we need to get the word out, let people know and understand. And one thing, Uncle, being that you're from Oklahoma, did you know that I actually did some research on it? Do you know where the yield sign originated?
I have no clue.
Believe it or not, it originated in, I believe, 1952 to a man named Riggins. He invented it in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
My hometown.
Yeah. See, I actually did some research. I knew it was made here in Oklahoma, but I didn't know exactly who it was, and so what gets me though is there's just so many of these wonderful Oklahomans here that I actually have an issue with the yielding. They just don't understand. Hey, there's something big coming at me. I'm not up to full speed here. Let him go on by. I'll get in behind him, and then later I can go around him if I need. No, they'd rather try the chance at jump in front of us, making us have to slam on our brakes, which just because we have 18 tires does not mean we stop 18 times faster. It just doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't like, let's see, Ernest Saves Christmas, where he, right towards the end of the movie, where he comes down with the reindeer and says, air brakes. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. I wish it did, but it doesn't.
But okay.
Well, I just figure, I got a lot of younger viewers on here, and some of them may actually have seen that show and relate to it and understand.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. I wished it did, but it doesn't, unfortunately.
Like the song says, 18-wheelers can't stop on a dime. That's so true, Sassafras. Appreciate you mentioning that to us.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Well, I got one more guest in the background. Let's introduce him.
Yeah, if he's available, let's bring him on aboard.
All righty. Welcome to the show there, Poet.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Introduce yourself, my friend.
I am a forcibly retired trucker, over 6 million miles, 54 plus years into the game. And I miss it. And I'm still looking for a part-time job driving. No, I can't do what I used to do.
Trucker.
Oh, I will die with my boots on.
And a gear
So,
shift in your hand.
oh, probably. Yeah.
There you go.
That is been around for years. I've heard that saying I don't know how many times.
Yep.
Mhm. This is
I don't know about the gear shift in the hand anymore due to the fact most trucks are automatics, but hey,
I won't
Yeah,
drive
that's
an
what I was
auto.
gonna say.
I won't drive automatic. I did for 6 months, hated it, never go back to it.
Mm, wow.
well, it's funny because I drove, 13, 18, 10, Super 10, 9s. I've actually driven and operated a twin shift, and that's been I did that for a construction company. I was the only one allowed to drive that water tanker truck because everybody that got in it dropped the differential. So they said, no more. We're going to let Frank here drive that sucker. So I got in it. I didn't have a bit of trouble. Never dropped a drive shaft one. So I was nominated to move it anytime I had to. And so, I could say this. It sounds really crazy, but when I can hold a cup of coffee in this hand and hold the steering wheel with this hand and not have to worry about a shift, a gear, or anything, and I can also come up into big traffic and pop my park brake and sit there and then just release it and go. Hey, it's not bad stuff right there. I've enjoyed it. I mean, I've been driving automatic for about 8 years now out of my career, and I can't complain.
Yep.
I hated it because I was not in control. There were
Right.
3 buttons on the dash. Okay. Reverse, neutral, and drive, and that was it. I had no control over which gear to use.
Boy, that is an old automatic there. I mean,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah.
And that was Volvo.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see yeah, you don't have much control over those. These newer trucks like the Freightliners and the Max and Volvos nowadays are actually a little bit easier to where you can put it in a manual operation and shift your gears yourself. Unless they've been disabled. Some of the trucks with some companies are disabled, which I don't
And
like.
I don't get that. I don't get
I don't
that.
either.
I don't know why they
I don't
do
either.
that. You know,
I really don't either.
what safety would be gained by that? I really don't know.
Yeah, especially whenever you're coming down out of mountains. I mean, or even pulling up the mountains. You want to have
Well,
control of them.
I'm going to
Yeah.
sound like faithful. If he were here, he would say this. I know he would. Computers in trucks today and the way they're tuned and the way they're set, no one can shift better than a computer can. So when it comes to
Right.
shifting your truck, when you're talking about driving on the road, your best fuel efficiency is letting the truck do the work.
That's right.
Now, to argue your point, going down mountains, I tend to put this truck I have in manual simply because I want the control of knowing what stage Jake I've got and what
Mhm.
speed of decel I've got under my foot. That's just
Right.
me. That's just
Mhm.
me. But I kiss fuel economy away the moment I do that. I know this. But I'd rather have control than fuel in the tank.
Well,
know,
honestly, when
my
you're
personal
going downhill
Mhm.
and you're using your engine brake, as they're called nowadays, you're not using any fuel. Now, the moment you hit that accelerator to speed up of any kind, there's where you're going to use your fuel. But the whole time you're using that engine brake, all fuel is shut off,
No.
except for just enough to keep the engine running.
Then
Yes,
why-
I've actually
then-
talked to
There's a
mechanics.
Hang
there's
on.
a scientific argument at play with what you just said, Grumpy, because
I've
would
actually talked it
would
over with
tend-
mechanics.
Then
I would
why-
tend to put a reverse angle on that argument because you are burning more fuel because fuel is what keeps your engine at higher revs when you're going down the hill. But the
And
same
You're
is true
basi-
when you're
Oh,
climbing the
okay.
hill. I get that.
All
I
right.
understand that. But you
No,
gotta
listen
you gotta,
to me.
You gotta retard your speed somehow. So
If you'll look it up, I promise you, you're going to find out the same thing I did by actually talking to some mechanics. I thought the same thing. I
Mhm.
did. I thought you used fuel when you're using your Jake, and they said no. When the engine brake is engaged, it shuts all fuel off because it is back compressing. So it is only using compression, just like if you were pumping air into an air tank.
Right.
That's all that does. So it uses no fuel. The
Then
moment you
why-
touch your accelerator, then you start using fuel.
Then why is the turbo boost going way up as you're using your
Okay,
Jake?
okay. Let me explain that. This is exactly how it was explained to me. When you have compression, anytime you have any kind of compression, which is basically what you're going to get from a diesel engine, is basically a diesel engine is a large compressor.
Right.
When you hit back compression, it's pushing out fast. Yes, you can blow a turbo very quickly that way if you're not careful. That's why you have to keep your RPMs under a certain amount.
Mhm.
Just like whenever you're running down the highway shifting, you have to keep those RPMs at a set amount. So basically, is if you set this up and you're hearing that turbo whistling, you want to keep that turbo under a certain psi, because if you don't, you're going to blow it. Because what's going to happen is that little fan in there that helps push the exhaust out,
Mhm.
it's going to wear out and go bye bye.
Yep.
So yes, I mean, I promise you, this comes from a book nerd and also inquiring minds of mechanics. You can look it up, and I promise you'll read basically the same thing. It will state to you that no fuel is being consumed while in engine brake mode.
Mhm.
I've blown 2 turbos doing that. I've done it. I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
man.
not a trucker unless you've blown one turbo.
I've done
God
2.
bless me, I've never blew one.
You should have seen it, man. It was bad. I blew the hoses apart, blew oil all over everything. Oh my God, it was a mess.
I've only ever blown one, but I've blown the boots off of a couple.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Blown the boot.
I fried the
That's where-
bearing on one. I damn near came close to a runaway, but I managed to shut it off.
That would have been a very bad thing.
That would have been a
Mhm.
very bad
I've
day.
had that happen.
I managed to shut it off. Believe it or not, in the garage, as I was investigating what sounded like a boost leak, because I could hear a lot of hissing. Come to find out, the bearings had spun on the darn thing, and it started overcharging my boost line, and it sprung one of my clamps loose. So that's how I recognized what was going on. But he said if I'd kept driving it about another 100 miles or so, that thing would have took off.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good, boss man. That definitely would not have been good.
Yeah,
I've never had a runaway or even came close to a runaway, and I don't ever want to experience one myself.
exactly.
Because these trucks nowadays are not that easy to be able to block that turbo
No.
like they used to be.
Yep. Used to be you could just put a metal plate on it.
Yep.
Not that easy today.
Well,
Nope.
up here we have a passive. Oh God, what is it? Passive air shutoff valve,
Mhm.
mandatory because of the amount of H2S, which is sour gas, which will kill you.
Mhm.
But what it does is when it enters into the air intake,
Mhm.
that engine will take right off. And I've seen it happen to 2 of them because the drivers couldn't get to the switch in time.
Mhm. Yep.
And basically,
Mm.
what it does is it shuts off the intake, everything.
Yep. Yep.
Just like the old 8V92s and old V71s.
There's a video circulating around the internet. You probably have all seen it, but this fella had a runaway sitting there at the side of the road. He
Yep.
was just sitting still,
Yep.
and he must have jammed it right down in 10th gear. Let that clutch loose, and that whole truck just went boom, just lifted right up off the right up off the ground.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he jumped out. He jumped out after that stop. He jumped out. He was running away. He was scared, senseless.
But yeah, because they blow up and there's shrapnel all over.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I mean,
and once that does that, if it gets too far gone, I mean, you can't even salvage that engine,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
because it's gonna overheat overheat your your cam, you're going to warp your valves.
Heck,
I
you
mean,
don't want to be anywhere
it's
around those engines if they
terrible.
decide to let loose when that happens.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, that's like that's like 15 grenades all at once. Boom.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to be anywhere near it.
Nope.
So, back to our little subject here. We've kind of got it on the deal with how we feel about the yield and stop. I mean, now how's this if you come up to an intersection and you've got a straightaway for, you come up to it to stop, to go straight or turn left, and then you've got this little turn lane that goes off to the right so that you can merge into traffic. I see a lot of folks that don't even pay attention and they just keep on going right out in front of you. How do y'all feel about something like that?
Depends. That lane going in, does it have its own lane for egress into the
It
traffic
is,
pattern, or does it just merge directly?
okay. I see a lot of them that do not understand what a protected lane is. There are what they call a protected lane. That means there is a solid white line for a certain amount of time. So you have acceleration to merge. And then there's also the one where they do not. And I see a lot of them where they do not have a protected lane and they just pull right out in front of you. And you've got to come to a quick stop unless you've got another lane to jump over into. And then you may or may not be able to get over in it. So
Maybe
how do
it
you
was
feel about
you.
that?
Maybe it was you that I had the conversation with early this week, but I remember talking to someone about service roads. Was that you, Grumpy, or was that somebody else?
It was probably Gilligan because he was talking about it.
Oh, yeah. Good show. Yeah, now that I remember that. Yeah, because I think what got you and me started on this conversation early this week was the whole idea that what you just described is commonplace in mainly the southern states with the use of frontage roads. When you leave an interstate, you enter an off ramp, you then merge via yield sign in a dedicated lane. And more or less down the way, you have that broke up with a dotted line where you can then merge over. A lot of
Correct.
states fine you for crossing the solid if you don't if you don't merge correctly. If you cross the solid line getting into traffic, that's dangerous because a lot of people are trained to wait or look for you moving over at the end of the solid line, and that causes accidents. Totally off the
Right.
yield subject, but that's leading to a point that I'm making because a lot of times when you come off ramps, on the East Coast, we don't use frontage roads. We just use the off ramps, and we'll have a left or right turn at the end of an intersection. You'll have usually stop signs at most endings, but occasionally they have that cloverleaf style right-hand turn that you referred to a minute ago, where they have the stop for the straight and left traffic, but they've got a yield for the right-hand side, but you've got no way to move unless traffic is clear, hence the reason for the yield sign. Now,
Exactly.
it's your responsibility as you're approaching that yield sign to check traffic's clear and move only when safe. In fact, that's the way the law book reads. Move when safe. You don't do that otherwise. That's the purpose of the yield. A lot of people just don't even look. They just keep on going. Truckers
No.
as well as cars. And that's dangerous. Very dangerous.
And I mean, I know we only have a few viewers actually watching us currently, but I'd love to hear any takes on that if they're willing to throw in any comments in on what they've ran across with driving out there and experience with. If you're a trucker, then let's hear your opinion on it. Sound off in our comments. If you're just a four-wheel driver, which is just a regular car driver, hey, I want to hear what you think on that too. I want to hear your side. If you feel that us truckers are in your way and we should stop basically on the interstate, which is not what we're supposed to do, let us know why. Let us know why you feel that way. I honestly, I'd like to know because I see this a lot traveling. Mostly, I mean, most of my terrain I travel in anymore is the Texas area. And I see a lot of this down in Texas where it's like folks just, I I don't understand it. They'll slowly come down when they got a real long entrance ramp to come in on the interstate. They could get up to speed or darn near close to it, yet they'll fart around to the last second and then wonder why you cut them off, or they'll jump in front of you like that, and it scares the heck out of me, because there's times that you can't move over,
No.
and if they cause an accident, it's their fault, because we like Scott was saying, is we have the right of way on the interstate or on the major U.S. highway.
Mhm.
So if you're merging in, you need that whole purpose. I've actually watched a video of a law enforcement officer state, get up to the proper speed or close to it before you merge in. That's the whole reason for it. And use proper signal to let people know while you're getting over to. Otherwise, we don't know what you're going to do. I mean, obviously you're supposed to be merging in, but that's not always going to be the plan. You might have accidentally went the wrong way and decided to stay right there.
A lot of orientations, safety directors, and people in major corporate trucking, mega carriers mostly, will back up what Sassafras is putting up. So if y'all stop on the interstate, there's a 99.9% chance that there'll be a wreck. They say,
That's right.
Don't stop. If you have to stop, get off on the shoulder, get out of the lane of traffic, do everything you can to get out of people's way. But as a trucker, if you're loaded and you're driving, stay in the lane and get off the road. Don't stop ever. That's
right.
Because the moment you do, the first accident, you're the cause.
Yep. And then if you're going to have to come to a stop because you're coming into a major intersection where one interstate intermingles with another interstate, like down in Texas, there's a lot of them. You've got I-30, you've got I-10, you've got I-20, you've got 635. I mean, all these interstates just like spaghetti, just thrown in the air down there and land. And they said, oh, there's a highway. Oh, there's a highway. All right. Anyhow, the ideal I'm coming to on that is you come up to these places, especially during rush hour, you've got 6 lanes of travel. You've got probably 3 on one side, 3 on the other, or you may have 8 lanes of travel, 4 on the other side, 4 on one side.
Right.
You wind up having people that don't know where they're going, or they're like, oh crap, my exit's coming up, and hurry up and jump in front of you. You wind up having people that, how can I say this, are merging on, that literally coagulate like a hardened artery of a human being, because there's so many of them coming in. None of them know how to do the zipper effect, so they're just like come to a stop. So if someone like us big trucks come up and we see there's brake lights ahead, it's always a good plan. Turn on them e-flashers. That way it lets other drivers or other cars behind you be aware that something's wrong. Pay attention, because those flashing lights will usually catch someone's eyes, and they're going to make them look up. Now, that's what I've been taught through the years, and that's the way I'm going to stick to it. So,
Sassafras says a good friend of mine was in Texas this week, had a bunch of people stopping in front of him. And I wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
No, wouldn't know anything about something like that.
Yeah, right.
Same concept happens whenever you're coming into Oklahoma and they have a construction zone, and all the construction's on one side of the highway, which has nothing to do with your side of the highway, but yet they've got y'all cut down to one lane.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Absolutely.
Nothing's going on
no
my side.
For it. Yeah, exactly.
Nope. Wouldn't know a thing about that.
There's other states out there just as famous for that too.
Oh, I know.
I'm not mentioning any names. New York, no names at all. Just out.
New York.
Wouldn't know anything about New York. I mean, any of these states to do this.
Well, one of the things I love about Texas is they love setting up construction zones and finishing almost all the work, and yet they forget to take most of their signs back down. So you never know what speed you could legally go.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you don't even know if there's construction coming up because they forgot a sign or two. It's like, how hard is it to go back and remove your signs or drop them, Please. Quit confusing people.
Exactly, right? Woo too much. Why do truckers think they own the road?
Mm.
They pay enough in taxes to drive that road.
We
They
own
don't
the
really
road
own it.
by default of the fact that we're driving 80,000 pounds. And I don't care what kind of car, how good it looks, how much it costs, or how flashy the boobs are behind the wheel. We can't stop. You do crazy crap in front of us, we will own you quicker than you can think about it or wipe the booger off your nose when you're crying about it. We don't own the road. Just people around us think they own it and do the stupid crap that gets us into accidents.
And it
That's
All
kills
right.
my
them.
people. That's
And
just
it
my
kills
people.
That just threw a little salt into my sore right here. I want to discuss this, and I'm sure that anybody who's been driving for a while should know this. Hint, hint, poet.
Mhm.
The interstate system in the United States was created for what they call interstate commerce. Okay, originally it was thought out to be used for military uses in
Yep.
case of a war broke out.
Right. Yep.
And also for us big trucks. It was to help deter us away from the small cities, to keep a lot of the roads and streets that were side roads, U.S. highways, a lot clearer so that we didn't have to travel them as much. Plus, it was a faster way to get from point A to B and back to A. So I have to say, woo too much. Honestly, we don't own the road,
No.
but we want to make sure you understand the laws. So if you're old enough to get a driver's license or have a driver's license, please, please, by all means, look it up. You can Google it, and it is pretty much for the whole entire United States. It's not just for one state in particular, but it is in each state's manual. It will tell you exactly what each one of these highways are used for and why.
I can speak solely for myself when it comes to the comment on the screen at the moment. Problems are not something others owe a deference to me for. Problems are things that arise that affect you before they affect me. Now, I say this because I'm going to assume, for just sake of this conversation, that Woo Too Much is a car driver, just by virtue of the last comment he put on. So truckers feel entitled to have other people cater to their problems. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to address this as if you watching are a car driver. Anytime I have a problem, it creates friction for you. Reason being is because if my problem happens to the extent that I lose control and go sideways across the interstate, you can't get around me. If I break down and can't deliver the very product you have ordered to fix your car broken down on the road, you don't get fixed and moving. If there is a discrepancy in where I have to go because some law changed and I can't use that road, my shipment's delayed, your product is delayed. Therefore, it's costing you more to get that very same thing done. The point I'm making is I don't have others cater to me. I solve the problem, get the job done. That's me talking as a trucker. When you talk about catering to their problems, we just want to do our job. We want to live our lives. We just want to get the job done so we can move on to the next load and support our families. When problems arise, we do our best to solve them. Therefore, how would it be fair for someone to make the assertion that we're expecting you to cater to us? We all have the same job, and that's to keep the wheels between the lines. If everybody
Correct.
knows the rules and everybody does the same, problem solved. No one caters to anyone. It's when people don't understand the science behind 80,000 pounds taking 3 football fields to come to a complete stop. That's when problems happen. If anybody wants to add to that, feel free. I've said my piece.
I agree with you 100%.
Yep.
Oh,
Sasspress just
Woo
said,
came back.
oh, I'll get to it in a second. Because like respect, just like you were pulled over. Okay, your show. I was reading Sassafras' comment, but
We'll come back to
you are
Sassy here in a second.
okay. But
I'm
you aren't
interested
trained
in
as a
move.
trucker to know you can't stop quickly, and to know that cars are going to try to get in front of you, even if it doesn't seem like the best move at the time. You can always, as I said earlier, you can always think ahead of your truck. You're trained to. You have to stay alive out here.
Yep.
But you're also trained to have the reflexes capable of dealing with the unexpected. Now, who can predict unpredictable movements, rock slides, the moment you think you've got a grip on bad weather and it suddenly turns south, road closures you can't find out about because they happen last minute, or accidents that suddenly begin a chain reaction and you're coming around a turn, you don't realize it's there. So there's way too many things. I could sit here all day long and list them. I mean, true, if you're trained as a trucker and know you can't stop, you purposely drive to that condition. All of us, all the time. As soon as the snow starts to fly, we start driving 10, 15 miles lower than the suggested speed limit just because we know. But that doesn't eliminate the multitude of possibilities of untrained drivers around you doing things you can't predict. That's
We are
that's my
we are truckers, not mind readers.
exactly.
Yep. Okay, now we
Yep.
can go back to what Sassy was saying.
Yeah. Oh, she was just addressing the respect. That is respect, just like you were pulled over on the side of the road having problems. You would want somebody to pull over next lane so that that way you don't get hit. Yeah, that's the move over law she's talking about. I mean, that's
Yep.
how many
Yep.
times I've gone down the road and, I've seen truckers, plenty of center lane, somebody on the side, a cop pulled over, and they're just riding their, practically taking the mirrors and the doors off.
Yep.
And they're
Yep.
acting like, oh, I didn't see you. Right,
Yeah.
sure.
Bull.
And also with that move over deal, if you cannot get over, which there's a lot of times you can't, you need to slow to a speed that is acceptable while passing, and make sure you're paying attention the whole time you're passing whatever it is.
Yep.
Whether it be the law enforcement, or it be a highway worker, or it
Yep.
just be a broke down car on the side.
Yeah.
Take
And
caution.
And
The
kudos
law.
to all the drivers that do run into those circumstances. I've seen it plenty of times where they'll actually slow down. They're like 30 miles an hour, less than half the interstate speed in that right lane, can't move over, hazards on, they slow down. That, I mean, smart move. I've run up across that a number of times because, I mean, if you're going down the road and all of a sudden somebody just hits the brakes in front of you and they don't put the hazards on, you're sitting there cussing and swearing because you think they're just being, a dick to you, but if they actually turn the hazards on and actually make an effort to communicate to traffic behind me, hey, look, there's a problem up ahead. That's professionalism. That's respect.
Well, I bring this all on this show, and I want to talk a little bit about safety points and stuff, because I do have a lot of young subscribers that will be joining us out here on the road. Some already have licenses, some do not, but I do know I have a lot of younger subscribers that will be getting licenses before long, and they need to know these things, because a lot of them have never been inside of a big truck, so they have no idea exactly what they're going to experience if they get out here on the highway and come up on big trucks, and they freak out. Because I know a lot of kids that would first get their license, and they absolutely freak out whenever they have a big truck passing them. They're not sure what to do. They're not sure if that truck's going to run them over, and it scares the heck out of them.
Yep.
By the way, I wanted to say hi to Gamer 4K. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Gamer.
Thank you for joining us. Would you want to add, Poet?
I replying to Woo Too Much. Yes, the panel here, we are professional drivers.
Yeah.
But what about the other drivers out there? Because not all of you truckers think the way that you're saying that you do.
True.
This
Not all truckers.
panel here, okay, has over, I would gather to guess, 120 years
Mhm.
of experience, totally combined.
Yep.
We are old school, okay?
Yep.
We were taught different,
Mhm.
okay? So, not all of your truckers think the way that you're saying that you do. We call them the new breed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It goes a long way to several discussions, Poet, that have been had on my show on Frontlines, where
Mhm.
we talk about the importance of increasing the quality of training and mentorship.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Thank you, boss
to
man.
yeah, to address the what about the other drivers, I implore, have said before, and will continue every chance I get to ask those individuals that you refer to way too much that they actually reach out, not
But
be
they
afraid to
don't.
ask questions. Well, and not be afraid to ask questions and learn from professionals, not just us. I mean, far be it from myself to set us, the panel, and everybody here on a pedestal, but I mean anybody and everybody that's had greater than 10 years or a million miles under their belt, they can obviously qualify to train, instruct, and keep those under them
Mhm.
safe. I
Yep.
think it goes a long way to improving the safety of the industry when people are not only the new guys reaching out for advice, but those that have 10 years or like us, willing to help others. Raise the bar, increase the quality of training, and no midlife, no more regulations.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
want people to do the right thing. So to those
Mm.
drivers that you refer to way too much, just simply reach out and ask questions. And if you
Yes,
know
please
enough,
do.
reach out, comment, call our studio line on my show. Doesn't matter. I want everybody here wants to hear from people with positive experiences that can assert that comment below.
And
Well,
we as
what we do.
professionals here on this panel,
Mhm.
we actually want to help get our expertise
Yep.
acknowledged and brought out and help anyone that we can, however it means possible to it. If it means that you're at a truck stop, if you're a driver and you need help, we see you needing help. We offer our help. If you refuse it, that's fine. We'll go on about our business. But we're willing to say, hey, do you need help backing into this spot? I'm here for you. And if they say, yeah, help me, please, right there, I'm there. But if I
Mhm.
see that they're struggling and I go up and offer my help and they turn me down, they say, we know what they're doing. All right, no problem. I won't argue with them. I won't fight with them. I don't have
mm,
time to. I
Right.
don't like it, but I'm not there. I'm not their babysitter.
Yep.
They're supposed to already know this stuff before they're handed the keys and put out there.
Right.
okay. May I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. It's your show there, Grumpy,
Hmm.
but may I extend an invite for Too Much to join us here and speak to us face to face?
Well, if you'd like, we have a link in the description of the show.
Right.
All he's got to do is click it, and if he verifies through YouTube, he can come on our show and we can actually have a conversation if he'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
He,
I don't
Your
feel
truck.
slighted. I don't feel
No.
offended.
No.
You
No.
know,
No.
not by the
Not at all.
least. But
No.
if you could
He's
talk to us
actually asked some
face
very
to
entertaining
face,
and very purpose-filled questions. So I appreciate
actually,
everybody in the show
yes,
doing it. Yes.
and obviously he's had some negative interactions.
he evidently has.
Mhm.
So let's talk
Well,
about it.
yeah, everybody has. But first, let me address this. Sassafras says truckers ask truckers questions because they were not sure about the laws and some of the regulations. So I think she's referring to those that don't, but yeah. some feel like it's a problem when they ask questions. They look like they're inexperienced, the rookie or whatever. Get over it, dude. Everybody has to learn. I mean, I did. Everybody here did. So it's it's not that big of a deal. She's right, so in that
Sassafras,
regard.
Sassafras, I learned something new yesterday.
Yep.
I learn something new every day, because if I don't learn something new, it's been a wasted day.
This statement he makes right there, I mean, goes kind of to what I was explaining a minute ago. Number one, we're not blaming anything on newer versus older. It's an industry-wide problem. All right. The purpose of training is to instruct the new guys. The purpose of training is to also remind us older folks. There's a side of the argument that says the new guys won't reach out, but then the older folks fail to accommodate. I mean, all of us on this panel are guilty of it. We're so busy, we're so wrapped up, we're so confident, we're so complacent that we a lot of times fail to pay attention to the signs that someone's actually reaching out. It's not, like, hey, I need help. Sometimes it's a subtle statement or just an action or an environment or something happening. We'll miss those signs. I've done it several times. And I know this because I am a 25-year management professional before I was in trucking. I managed people in transportation. I got to where I could identify the moment I saw signs someone needed help. I took action. I made it possible to fix problems before they started. So I have all the responsibility on both sides of the comment you just put on the screen there with too much. It's not only incumbent upon the new ones to realize they have stuff to learn, but us old folks, as Poe just said a moment ago, if you're not learning as an older trucker, hang up the keys, find something new to do. All right. What is it? The
Yes.
expression we came up a while ago, poet, a wasted day is a lie untold or something like that. I forget. I don't have it in front of me. You know, never waste an opportunity to learn, whether you're young or old. That is probably the single best advice I can give anybody. Yeah, you don't have to be qualified to be on one of our panels. All you got to be is interested and intrigued enough to know that you don't know enough. There's no qualifications to be on our panel.
Well, it's just, I'm talking about YouTube's got to verify them is basically what I meant. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yeah. Well, that's why I figured I'd clear that up, because I saw that sitting there. But,
I'll be right back, boss man.
Go ahead. Older truckers and newer truckers alike all have the responsibility of being culpable in not only instructing, but receiving advice as well. Again, 25 years in taxi business. I mean, it doesn't really compare. But in that 25 years, I dealt with truckers, I dealt with trucking, I dealt with renting trucks, I dealt with a lot of transportation regulations, needs, training, conditions, everything. And one of the things I think one of the best things I think I learned from it is you never run out of things to learn. There's always a day when something's going to come across, you're going to find you didn't know what you thought you knew. And the best blessing you can get out of that is that you don't hurt someone or something in the process of learning it. So that is the best outcome anytime. Say hello to my lovely wife who is joining the backdrop there. Welcome to you. And glad she could join the show. That was his comment a moment ago. Go ahead, Poet. You're muted, buddy.
You're right. Move too much. You are definitely qualified to be on the panel. Okay.
Yep.
We don't get to talk face to face with many four-wheelers.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
We would love to hear the opposite end of the spectrum.
Always.
Yeah. Your story, your side.
I mean, Don't talk to me. Yeah, okay.
always get the opposite end of every story. So that's always a good thing. Don't get me wrong, us
That's
four
right.
wheelers drive like idiots also. Yeah. You know what? It doesn't have to be just four wheelers. I mean, yeah, I
Nope.
mean that you understand that. Thank you. Too much
Mhm.
appreciate that. But you know, there are just as many, cargo and delivery drivers, with six-wheel vehicles doing it.
Mhm.
Hotshot drivers doing things. It's not just four wheelers and truck drivers. As I said earlier, we all have to share the same real estate. Two lines on one side, one line on the other. It doesn't matter what country you're in or what design it is, but there's a left, right, there's a right and wrong everywhere you go, and everybody's got their part to play. So I'm going to do one thing, and that is a character trait of this man's show. And I'm going to play a song he, so appropriately has on here. I'm just going to pick one randomly and play it, but then also admonish at the same the old trucker needs to get his butt back on stage after the song's over because I got to get going. I got a delivery to make.
Trucking family, they mean the world to me. In every turn and mile, it's love that I see. Through struggles and triumphs, we'll always be strong. In this big rig life, together we belong. They laugh on the road, on the starlit skies. I hear their voices, love never dies. From the open highway to the home-cooked meals, it's the fun that we try here by my side. Together we stand through thick and thin. In this big rig life, we'll always win. And if we stand in family, my trucking family, they mean the world to me. In every turn and mile, it's love that I see. The struggles and triumphs will always be strong. In this big rig life, together we belong. Under starlit skies, I hear their voices, love never dies. From the open highway to the home-cooked meals.
Where'd the song go?
It's playing.
Oh. Do some magic or something because I don't hear it.
Playing on my end. I know everybody else is.
Alrighty then. I faintly hear it. It's just, I don't know. Maybe my side just goes poop.
But hey, read Gucci Much's next comment.
All right. Song ended. What did you
Okay.
ask, Poet?
Read the last comment from Woo Too Much.
Okay. Let me see it. Let me see. Different. I have a
Yep.
topic. I would like to hear your opinions on truck drivers driving in the middle of the left lane. What are your thoughts? Well, I'm going to make my thought real quick and simple because I'm going to have to depart the show, my friends. Left lane hoggers. We see them all over the place. They need to realize it's costly. It is a very expensive proposition. There's too many states out there with laws that say if you have more than 3 axles, you're not allowed in the left lane, period. End of discussion. Cops are enforcing it, and they are citing, and they are not being nice about it. So that being said,
Right.
always stay right unless you have a lot of money to burn.
And the center
And I'm gonna
lanes
add
for
to that.
passing only.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. If you got like down in Texas, there's a lot of 3-lane highways. Well, 6-lane
Mhm.
technically is what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
Generally, the far inside left lane is a super duper no for trucks. Okay, it's a $500 fine if you're caught in it, from what I understand, and I don't want to find out. But and a lot of incidents, I've been down there. I see a lot of drivers getting in that lane. Now, with that being said, on that, I'm going to say this: the least resistance lane travel is one we want to be in. So if the middle lane is best for the drivers to be in because the right lane has got a lot of slower traffic in it, it's recommended that we get in that lane if it's moving better. But if the far right lane has got no traffic in it and we can stay in that one as long as we possibly can, that's a good idea. But there again, I'm going to come back to you on that yielding thing. When we're down in Texas and people do not know how to yield, and there's other states that do it too, but Texas is well known for it.
Yep.
You start getting these people that come in onto the interstates, and if you're in that far right lane, guess what? You're just asking for an accident. So that's why you see a majority of us truckers, if you're a resident in Texas, hanging out in that center lane, because that right lane is basically a suicide lane, and
It is.
for us anyhow. So we tend to stay in the center lane as much as possible, unless we're able to travel in the right lane. Myself,
Exactly.
I choose to stay in that center lane as long as I need to. But if I see the right lane is travelable, I will stay in it. I switch back and forth, but I try not to do too much switching, because if you start hopping lanes, that will get you a ticket. That's a no for
Yep.
4-wheelers also.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to depart early. I have a delivery to make, and these deliveries definitely do not frown on being late. So,
No, they don't.
Um,
No, they don't. You
yep.
take care, boss man. Glad you could be here with us, and I'll take the
Yep.
reins for here for a little bit longer, and
Yep.
get to watch
Yep.
re-show. Watch it from this point on. I
All
guess.
righty.
All right. Be
Meantime,
safe
to
out
your
there. And
viewers,
all.
meantime, to your viewers, God bless. Keep the faith. Keep it real, and we will keep it rolling. We'll see you next time,
All
guys.
right.
Stay safe.
See you
boss
next week.
man. Rubber down.
Bless you.
Take care. All right, gentlemen. It's just us here. So, well, what else can we talk about? We still got 3 wonderful viewers that are keeping an eye on us. Anything else that we can discuss this week? I know Christmas is coming up, but a lot of people celebrate Christmas. It means a lot to them, not just for presents, but also the factor of being around family and friends that are real close.
Mhm.
You know, look at that. Uncle's got a really beautiful Christmas tree back there. That is beautiful. And he disappeared. Well,
Mhm.
well, how about that? He showed us the Christmas tree and it disappeared. He'll be back, I'm sure.
Oh, he's
There he
probably
is.
He's probably
on a second.
hiding underneath the tree as a present.
You never know. Hang on.
There we
Maybe
go.
maybe he's looking for acorns.
I know, right?
Well.
Your Aunt Carol worked hard on that tree.
Yeah.
I
That's a beautiful.
see that. It is beautiful. It really is. Very beautiful.
So I'm kind of curious as to whether or not Woo2 Much is still watching. I mean,
I don't know. I see we have 2 viewers currently.
okay, well, I'm one of them.
Yeah. I don't know who our other viewers are. I mean, and I mean, it's hard saying, but if Wutu wants to still stay with us and come back, that'd be great.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have a face-to-face conversation with a whole different perspective.
I agree, it would, and they were invited. They could have came on if they
Oh,
wanted to,
no.
but some folks wish to not, and that's their choice, and I honor that.
Yep.
I'm just happy to see their comments. That's very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, I was trying to get a song that I created that had to do with this show. So bear with me, folks. I'm working on this. You guys spark up a topic that would be good for the Grumpy Couch. I know you two can come up with something.
Well, Wutu just asked, what kind of truck do you drive? And what is your favorite truck? Personally, I'm forcibly retired, so I no longer drive. Do I have a favorite truck? No. Ever since I started driving back in 1970, it's a tool, a machine that I had to learn how to operate. And I think I learned how to operate them well. I got over 6 million miles. 5.5 million of those are accident free. Do I miss driving? Yeah, I do. It was my life for 54 plus years. So a lot of guys, they like their Peterbilts, their Freightliners, their Western Stars. I was always kind of partial to internationals. And then they started making them in Mexico. And they lost a lot of customers on account of that. What can I say? It's a tool. It's no different than a pen if you're sitting in an office or a computer and a keyboard. You know, it's a tool to get your job done. It just happens to be that mine has 18 or 22 or 26 wheels and weighs anywhere from 80,000 to 144,000 pounds. It's a tool to me,
Yes, it is.
Yes.
and that's
I
my
will
opinion.
agree. I will definitely agree with you. It is a tool.
hmm
And if you really want to get down and nitty gritty with that, it's a very useful tool that we learned at a young age, probably that we wanted to do, but we started out playing with them on the ground or at home on the floors and stuff.
hmm
And we liked it so much we decided to grow up and get bigger toys. But safety first with the bigger toys, that's for sure. It is it's definitely a big call on that. All right. Obviously I won't find it there, so I am working on this.
Work away.
I am
Winner.
working away.
Yep, I'm still here waiting for your compelling argument. LOL. What compelling argument are we talking about?
Yeah, that would be wonderful to know.
This typing back and forth sucks. You could join us. You can join us on StreamYard via the link. And you don't even have to show your face because you can actually turn your camera off.
Well, yes, they can. There again, I'll touch on the factor that it would be nice to have them as a guest on the show, but some folks do not, and I understand. That's why it's best for them. They can type out what they want, and we can take a look at it and go from there. I mean, I would like to know what exactly Wutu you're hinting at there. Still wanting or waiting for your compelling argument. So are we supposed to just argue with you on this, on how things are? Is that what you're wanting? Or are you wanting to hear the truth? I mean, come on now. We've got to know a little more than just a compelling argument.
I'm not going to argue with him.
I'm not arguing.
No, I know you're not, John.
No, no,
I
because
think
I
he,
mean, I want to see. I mean, I'm after the factor. What I'm looking for is there a reason why you're wanting to have an argument over this deal, or is there a
And
reason?
and exactly what are we arguing?
Kitty cat.
yeah.
Because I've lost track now. I know that's my Garfield.
Does he like lasagna?
Hey, I had a plate of lasagna sitting out here about 3 days ago. He doesn't like the pasta, but he tears the pasta off to get to the sauce.
He
Okay.
just wants the meaty sauce. That's what he wants.
Well, yeah, and it's the same thing as what the hell? Hang on a second. Tig buys overstuffed ravioli.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So he will eat the sauce and tear the ravioli apart to get at the meat.
Makes sense.
And he's the only one that'll do it. So,
Well,
I don't know, Gamer 4K. We see you're still here. Yep.
Yep.
Do you got
Glad you're
anything?
still here.
You got anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, that would be nice if Gamer 4K would add something to it. I mean, bring up something you want to hear. What do you want to know about us truckers? What do you that you don't already know, or you're interested in finding out that we might be able to answer? I mean, it's here we go. Woo came back. All right, hang on.
How about I asked?
How'd that happen? Hang on. I swear show.
What truck would we buy? Oh God.
Personally, even though they're not allowed up here, I would want what was it, a 579, the long square hood? Yeah, I'd want a long nose peak with a 144-inch bunk on it.
Wow. You want
Well,
a condo, I say, huh?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be living in Canada anymore because they're not legal up here.
Tell us why they're not legal up there, because I'm sure a lot of viewers don't know why.
Length laws.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know, it's yeah.
So that would explain a lot of the reasons why a lot of Scanias are sold up there and used up there then.
Scanias? Not
Yeah.
up here. Not
Really?
up here. Yeah.
Really?
The
Me.
most of the ads that we see up here in Canada, they use European trucks like DAF, DAF. That's a Dutch made unit. Scania, Volvo. There's a couple of Russian outfits. There's an Italian outfit. Mercedes makes a cab over. No. Hang on a second. The grumpy old trucker is famous. I'm doing him a favor by not coming on his show. His popularity would fail and his YouTube career would be over. LOL. Not really comfortable on social media. Well, you've already disproved that one because you keep on posting.
All right. Well, I'm glad I'm famous. I mean, I appreciate that. I'm getting there, but I mean, I understand if you don't want to come on. Like I said earlier, everybody
cool.
is,
Hey,
you know what it is. But I'm glad you're in the comment section and enjoying your talk. Now, I'll
Yeah.
answer your question on that last one that you had, which is, you know, what kind of truck would I want if it was brand new and I had no expense for it? I don't know. I've really taken up with the Freightliners. I mean, I know it's not all fully made here in America, but honestly, if I had a choice, it would be a Freightliner. And I'm not keen on the Detroits anymore. Detroit's kind of getting to where they're not as made well anymore. So I would say either a Cummins, or if a person wanted to go through it and expense, I put a Cat in it. But the problem with that is I'd never be allowed in California. But Cummins would probably be what I would go with.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right.
I like the Freightliners. I'm really partial Peter Kenworth. Those are my favorite trucks. Kenworth, Peterbilt.
Kenworth and Peterbilt. Yep. So that's a PACCAR family is what they call that. PACCARs are okay. I'll be honest with you. I've driven Peterbilts. I've driven KWs. The only bad thing I've ever had with them, unless you get lucky with certain companies and they provide more comfortable seats, Peterbilts, just to get comfortable where your tailbone don't hurt, you have to drop it clear to the floor.
Yeah.
KWs, if you get comfortable seats in them that are decent, then you're okay. You can adjust to where you want it, but you still have to ride low. But that's why I always wondered for years why I've seen so many drivers in Peterbilts that looked like they were basically not sitting in a seat; they were sitting on a floorboard. Now I know after driving it.
Not me. I'm so short, I got to air it all the way up and move it all the way forward.
And if you drop it down, you'd get closer to the pedals.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is you hit the big bumps and it hurts your butt.
Right.
Yeah.
Go over the floor.
You're right.
Oh, well.
Well, anyhow, Woo, I appreciate you being on my show through the comments section, and we'd love to have you back each and every week. You know, I've almost figured out who you are, Woo, but we'll leave that alone. I'm just glad to have you here, and I enjoy your presence, and I want to see you come back every Sunday and bring in some more comments because they are very, very helpful.
Are you taking a Christmas break?
Who, me? I'm taking one, yes. But I was actually supposed to work this weekend so I could make an extra buck or two, and that all went to Hootie's whenever I had a trailer that the airbags blew up on with the load on it, so they didn't get it fixed quick enough. So tomorrow morning I have to be over there early so they can get started working on it, and then I'm probably going to make that delivery somewhere down there in Texas to the place where it's going, and then hopefully they'll have me a load heading back this way, so I'm home Christmas Eve, so I can celebrate Christmas. And then
So there will be a show next Sunday.
Oh yeah, there'll be show every
Okay.
Sunday unless I say
Okay.
otherwise.
Well, boss man's taking a holiday, right? So I'm just asking.
Right? Yeah, boss man's got to take the holiday. He's actually gonna be working on making his show better,
Yep.
which
I
is
know.
great. Um, things are going to look a little different, but the show will still be the way it is with him. I mean, as the old saying is, the show must go on.
Yep.
So,
You bet.
but I grant you one thing: everything's been going well. My direction, and I hope everybody's having a very happy holiday themselves. Other than my trailer deciding it didn't need airbags anymore. I mean,
Uh-huh.
things were looking up for me. But if I get that load delivered tomorrow, things will be great because I'll get paid for that load, so that'll help. That's the whole reason why I wanted to work the weekend so I could make a little extra money because my time goes in on Mondays at 11:59. And during the holiday season, there is no grace period, so they want it in so they can get payroll and get busy with it before the holidays. So can't blame them there.
Nope.
It's the only bad thing about holidays falling in the middle of the week. It messes everybody's paydays up. Even the typical worker that's out there, it's messing with them because
Yeah, tell me about
yeah, you're kind of field too. I mean, because you're not just the drivers around there. You work actually there with them at the co-op, don't you? Still in office work and stuff.
it.
Yeah,
Office work, grain work. Right now, I'm constantly doing grain work, moving grain. So
right.
How,
that's
how are
busy.
you?
It's my busy time of grain.
How are you hauling the grain?
My trucks, local trucks, come in and pull the grain out of my silos and take it, sell it to the big corporations.
I realize that. What kind of truck? 6-wheelers, 10-wheelers, 18s?
No, 18. Yeah, big
18s.
trucks.
Okay.
Yeah, semi. Yeah,
Okay.
and the big terminals. When we take it to the big terminals, they load it out on rail. So we're filling up the big terminals where our big terminals are loading it out either on a container truck or on a rail car.
Yeah, see, up here it's mostly rail.
Yeah,
So did they
I
get
kind of
that
figured.
all fixed where I was there years ago that rail cars weren't able to load and unload there?
Not at my facility, no. Still can't.
Oh, okay.
I'm not set up to do that because I've just got a small rail siding that used to load rail out of my facility years ago, and they could
Right.
only load 5 cars a day. So we don't do that anymore. We've got the big terminals now where they load 100 cars a day.
Well,
You
yeah.
know,
Efficiency.
yeah, more efficient. So they take the grain from my facility, move it to the big facility for the rail cars.
Right.
Makes sense.
Makes
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Yep. Oh.
I'm still trying to find that song. I got to find it, and we'll play that, and then we'll probably call it a day. So let me. I'll be right back, guys. You two gentlemen talk again and see if you can keep people entertained. Grumpy will be back, I promise.
Okay. I
So,
have.
Poet, you in South Dakota or North Dakota?
Huh?
Where you at?
Who?
Where are you at, Poet? You.
Oh. 1,000 miles due north of Boise, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho. 1,000 miles due north.
Mm-hmm.
That would be. Is that across the Canadian border, or is that on the Canadian border?
No, no.
No.
I am 500 miles north of the Canadian border.
Okay. So you are in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The guys called me the Snow Mexican.
The snow Mexican?
Yep.
Huh.
Or
Are
the
you born and
Mexican,
raised up there?
the Mexican with the winter coat.
The Mexican with the winter coat. That's cool.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just a midget.
Nah, I know where you're from. You're from the Buckeye. You're not far from Cleveland.
Yeah,
That's my
I'm
old.
I'm
That,
just
that's
south of Cleveland.
yeah. That's my old stomping grounds. I used to
There you
live
go.
in. I used to live in Hamilton, Ontario.
Hamilton, Ontario. Okay.
You know where that is.
Yep.
Okay. But I've been out here now for 30 years. So I would have sooner have
How do you
moved
take all that
down.
cold weather?
Say what?
That cold weather up there. How do you stand it? It's cold here.
Well, how cold is it?
Oh, let's say, it's probably about 40 degrees out, maybe 32, 30. I don't know, somewhere between the 30s and 40s. The
That's
snow's
where I,
melting. The sun's out.
that's where I put on a tank top and my winter shorts and my flip flops.
You're crazy, dude. You are crazy. Oh,
No, you know, at minus 50 Celsius, it's also minus 50 Fahrenheit.
hmm.
And we see that on a regular basis in the winter,
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
you know? Yeah, and then it's time to bundle up. You wear what they call Bama socks, which are thick socks over your socks to go into your boots. You wear insulated coverall pants and
Hmm.
insulated Carhartt jackets and 3 pairs of mitts on your fingers so you can't really do anything anyway. Uh, but schools don't shut down. Uh, Offices still open. If you can't make it to work because your car won't start, you getting shit for not plugging your car in the night before. You know, uh, I just sold a what the hell was it? 500-watt oil pan heater that was magnetized, and I used to plug it up, push it up underneath my oil pan. Yeah, it sucked a lot of power out of the house, but guess what? My truck always started.
Hmm.
You know, so you plug in the heater, you make sure you set your Webasto for 2 hours before you want to start it. You plug in that oil heater all night. I never had any problem.
Yeah.
Mind you,
We've had to
the
plug
first,
our trucks in a time or two.
oh yeah. Do you have diesel heaters on your engines?
Hmm. We got them.
Yeah, okay. Well, like I said, I've been to all 4 oceans. Uh, in 23, I went up to a place called Tuktoyaktuk, which
That's
is the very north end of the highway at the Arctic Ocean. Yeah, that was a
that's
2 week round trip.
that's like ice road truckers, kind of.
Actually, I've been on ice roads and I've been on winter roads, and there's a difference between the two.
Mm.
I will do the ice roads. I hate the winter roads. Ice roads is mostly on lakes and rivers
Right.
with the occasional portage. Winter roads are mostly muskeg, where even in the
Mm.
winter, okay, there's water flowing underground. And you could see like a water hole, okay, ahead of you, but you'd have to stop to measure how deep it is because some of them are big enough to swallow your cab. And that's just from muskeg.
Hmm.
So, it is what it is. It's different. I've
Different,
done
definitely.
I've done a lot of running in the bush, fracks with frack sand and oil pipe, gas pipe. Yeah, mostly that. Where you're into the bush like 300-400 miles, and then because you got to go slow, you don't make it out the same night, so you have to stop in a camp somewhere. Hopefully, get fed, have a place to sleep, wake up in the morning, and go again.
Right.
So it's
You ever
but
get
that
lost?
no, but I've been misplaced a few times.
Oh man, I can't imagine it. I can't.
But why
I
not?
know it's beautiful up there. It's beautiful.
It depends. Okay, depends how you look at it. When I see a hill, yeah, that's just another hill. If I see a mountain, it's just another big rock to get over. If I see a tree, well, I've seen millions of those. They all look the same.
Hmm.
If I see a moose, it's usually the one that's laying dead on the side of the road. Well, I've seen thousands of them,
Yeah.
but in a way, I'm glad
Boo.
they forced me to retire, but I'm still looking for a part-time job.
Well, don't have too many eyeballs, but I finally found them. It was a pain in the rear end, but I finally found them. So whoever watches the replay gets to enjoy it. So let's find
What?
the two. I have two songs. Hang on a second. Let me go to them. I got to get the old steam engine working here. It's slow and old. Oh,
What? Like,
Neos.
like some of the ones I send in your group.
Yeah. Don't need that one either. Trying to put some things away here that I don't need that's in the way. Aha, here we go.
What?
All right. Let's play this one. See what y'all think about this one. If anybody else is tuning in, enjoy. I hope it's making sense for this particular live stream.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go outside. I'll be listening from outside.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit your mute button, Fuddy Bud.
Okay.
On the roads we share and ride, there's a sign that guides the bride. The triangle, bright red and white, telling us still to be polite. So slow it down, keep your eyes wide. Here's to the throne and the world tonight, holding this together day and night. Take a moment and patience lead in the dance of traffic and kindness speed. In Tulsa streets, a vision was born. Clinton rigged, set the sign to the dawn. A legacy of safety we must uphold. In every corner, let the story be told. Respect the road, let others fly. Here's to the throne and the world tonight. We're holding this together day and night. Take a moment and patience lead in the dance of traffic. So when you see that sign, take heed. Safety first, it's the road we need. Good thing
All right. What do you think of that one?
Sounds like something from Rocky. Superhero.
I like it.
We got one more
I like
here,
it.
and then we'll probably adjourn and come back next week and have a whole new different topic. So here we go. Same concept, different song.
Mhm.
I got a good topic.
When you see that red triangle, take a breath and slow down. It's a sign to give others the way, keep safety in town. Remember the rules, it's more just a guide. To yield means to care, to let the love reside. So check your mirrors, be aware of the flow. Yield to the moment, let your kindness show. Let the yield sign remind you, take a moment for grace. In a world that moves fast, there's no need to race. Help each other out, let the good feeling flow. Together we can make it, just take it slow. In life, just like on roads, we must learn how to share. Sometimes to gain a blessing, you need to just beware. It's not a sign of weakness, but strength that you own. To yield is to grow, it's how true bonds are grown. Every intersection brings a chance to rethink. Yielding is a choice to pause and not just blink. Let the yield sign remind you, take a moment for grace. In a world that moves fast, there's no need to race. Help each other out, let the good feeling flow. Together we can make it, just take it slow. So the next time you drive or face a life's bend, remember the yield and let love be your friend.
Where'd it go?
I guess that was it. I don't know. It finished.
I like it.
I like that one. That pertained to the show for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, the other one was basically the concept of yielding and who created it. Which, if you listen to it closely, it mentioned what I told you earlier, that it was made and designed in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and what year. So, well, seeing how
Are we still live?
we are. Do you not see it up there in the corner?
1 hour, 31
Nope.
minutes.
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, it's still up there in the left-hand corner. It says live. But I mean, I've got three eyeballs, which one is you, and I have no idea who the other two are.
Okay.
I haven't had any comments come in. Not lately. Not since Woo
Okay.
2. Oh, what the heck? I can probably throw in some other weird song here. Let me find something here.
I'll tell you what.
Uh,
I'm getting hungry for lunch.
are you are all right? Well, that makes sense. Oh,
Are you gonna be PO'd if I bow out?
no, that's fine. If you need to go ahead and go, poet. It won't be long, and I'm gonna shut it down anyhow. I just want to play. I like songs. I really do,
I know
and
you do.
especially. Let's see.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here then.
All right,
All right.
brother. I'll see you next week. Same
Merry
time,
Christmas,
same
all.
place
Same,
on Grumpy's
same,
Couch.
same channel.
That's right.
Later.
You
Be
take
safe.
care. Have a great weekend and have a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you. Same to you, John. Merry Christmas to both of you. And to
Yeah,
all the viewers, whoever's left.
that's right.
Later.
Thank you so much. And we'll play one more song and then we're going to call it an evening.
I'm out.
All right.
Don't think I played this one. I may have. I don't know. But we're going to play it.
Anybody hear me? Out on the highway where the sun sinks low, rolling through cornfields, freedom in the flow. A grumpy young trucker with dreams on the rise, finding my calling beneath the vast skies. Old stories whisper through the engine's roar. Each mile of canvas, I'm ready for more. So I'll keep on trucking with passion and pride. Through the heartland of America, I'll take it in stride. With every delivery, I share my truth loud. In this life on the highway, I'm chasing my crowd.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, Harold.
Hello. Hang on, Harold.
With Joe by my side, sharing tales from the past. His laughter reminding me of how friendships can last. Driving through sunsets, my heart feels the weight. In every turn taken, I'm shaping my fate. The road's an adventure, my spirit ignites. Every moment's a story, I'm ready for more. So I'll keep on trucking with passion and pride. Through the heartland of America, I'll take it in stride. With every delivery, I share my truth loud. In this life on the highway, I'm chasing my crowd. The road calls my name, and I answer with grace. The young trucker's journey, no one can replace. So I'll keep on trucking with passion and pride. Through the heartland of America, I'll take it in stride. With every delivery, I share my truth loud. Woo! In this life on the highway, I'm chasing my crowd. The road calls my name, and I answer with grace. The young trucker's journey, no one can replace. Thank you.
Well, my fabulous subscribers, Grumpy's had a wonderful time. We've touched on some good points. We've had wonderful guests on our show today. We've had wonderful, wonderful comments. We've actually had a few new eyeballs, which was woo too. I'd like to say thank you to him and or her. I'm not sure. None of my business there. But I would like to say thank you for coming on. I'd also like to say thank you for Gamer for coming on and being in the comments section. All is welcome to come aboard and have a chance to come into my show and sit on Grumpy's couch, or so to speak. metaphorically. But
What
I
about
have
Harold?
enjoyed this. Well, Harold is kind of not available right now. He seems to be in mutation mode there with no mic. So we will have to get back with Harold next week. Um, but he can hang out backstage if he can hear me, and we will get with him here shortly. But I just wanted to come back and say thank you, everyone, and I appreciate each and every one of my subscribers. Y'all have made it possible for me to do this show every week and want to have the willpower to do this show. And I also enjoy putting up my content. And I just want to say thank you so much. And I want to say also, basically, I've hit the milestone for this year that I wanted to. My target goal, once I started hitting and going up with my numbers, was 1,000. I know for a fact I'm over 1,000 now, and I appreciate each and every one of you subscribers out there that tune into my lives, that tune into my shorts, and tune into my actual videos. Continue liking, subscribing, and sharing. I sure would appreciate it. One day, I know the majority of y'all came in on a short where I was basically sitting there and telling off the states I've been to. I have been to each and every one of their states. The one I have not been to is Maine, and I have not been to Alaska, and I have not been to Hawaii. Now, that being said, I would love to travel to a lot of those other places I haven't been to, but I really can use all the help I can get from plenty of my subscribers. So keep on sharing me, keep on liking me, and one day that target will hit where I can be able to have the extra income to go to Hawaii and go to Alaska and definitely try to get up to Maine and check it out as well. I've never had any loads going up to Maine, so that's one reason why in my 24 plus years I've not ever been to Maine. But I have been to a lot of other states, and I've been there more than once. And I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, "Oh, what happened with West Virginia and Wisconsin?" And all right, well, I didn't create the song itself. I'm sorry, but a few of the states got left off, and I want to apologize if you watch this live, but that's just what happened. And I have been to majority of them. If you see the 3 X's, those are the 3 I haven't been to. The rest of them I've been to. So till next week, folks, everybody have a wonderful and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, whatever language and country you're from. And I want to say happy holidays, period. And I will be back next Sunday and we'll do this all over again. By that time, I really would like to see some people leave some comments that watch the replay on subjects that they would like to touch on that I myself can bring up in front of my panel, and we can all have a big discussion just like we did this week on stop signs versus yield signs versus merge ramps. I mean, it got really kind of heated. We enjoyed it, and I appreciate some of my commenters. So, yeah, just remember this, folks. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I promise you, if it's broken, go buy a new one, because sometimes it's just too expensive to fix anymore. Till next week, folks. Grumpy's out.
Merry Christmas.
Hang on, folks. Oh, my. And it did not do it. Hang on. Technical difficulties.